Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. We like to call this Monday Night Football. Yes. Let's get the video going. Let's get this play started. We have lots to cover. How's it going? My name is Wiso from FootMexSource.com. This is an hour-long podcast dedicated to all things Mexican football, Mexican soccer, all across. And today we're actually making it international, since we'll have a lot to talk about with what happened yesterday on the draw, what's going to happen in the next week with CONCACAF Champions. I almost said CONCACAF.
CONCACAF.
That's been in the head, CONCACAF. CONCACAF Champions now. It's competitive. Everyone's watching it now. And obviously Libertadores. So it's more than just Mexican football. It's all America. So, you know, the whole continent.
Yeah, America.
At least not Club America.
Not Club America. We'll be going there, guys. And then we'll also talk about, obviously, Liga MX, El Clásico Joven, the dramatic ending 3-3. We'll have Johnny on talk about. I'm sure he's got lots to talk about. But first, who's on today's show? Starting from, my left, we'll go Mr. Cesar Hernandez. Cesar, back with the L3. Dang, Cesar.
Yeah.
Back at it again with the L3 jersey.
I know, knockoff jersey. This isn't official. This is not official at all whatsoever. You can tell for so many reasons why this isn't an official jersey, but I believe Johnny Rico once told me that you aren't a legitimate Mexico soccer fan unless you have a knockoff jersey. So, you know, that makes me feel. But yeah, I'm here. I'm excited. There's a lot to talk about today. I'm excited to talk about the Copa America draw. Excited to talk about the CONCACAF Champions League, Liga MX. So, yeah, excited. Let's get this going.
Good. From there in Tijuana in the San Diego area, Mr. Referee Johnny Rico Aviles. As we're looking at him right now on the screen, how's it going, Johnny? What's going on with the ref attire?
Well, paying tribute to who knocked out America from last Liguilla and who caused the 3-3 draw against Cruz Azul.
All right. The most valuable player of this weekend is the referee in Johnny's eyes, as always. Mr. Tom Marshall, who obviously you know him, Mexico World Cup. Tom, I think he was coming in and out. There he is, Mr. Tom. By the way, who has a Pumas little logo on the background. Solo Pumas, just FYI. He pays allegiance to the Felinos, baby. Tom, how are you, sir?
Bit ill, me.
Yeah?
bit under the weather, but I'll survive. I don't think I'm dying at least, so I should make it till the end of the show. That's what I'm predicting.
I blame all the Chivas games you go to. That can get complete.
He was at the Jalisco. He was at Atlas game this weekend, right, Tom?
Yeah, same thing though, isn't it, really?
What are you talking about? At least someone gets wins. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, First win for Atlas in September. Jesus.
When was the last time somebody won in Guadalajara? Oh, wait, Leonel Negros won, I think.
Yeah, they're doing
all right, guys, and we have a very special guest that's going to help us today, especially with all the competitions, Mr. Ives from Soccer by Ives. We've had him on the show before, Mexico versus U.S. preview. Get to see him anytime El Tri plays, obviously the U.S. Ives, how are you, sir? Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I feel bad. I don't have anything on my backdrop here. It's pretty. I gotta put some jerseys up. I do have a little USA color right here. So.
There it is, USA. Usually you come in with your Azteca jersey. I mean shirt.
I thought about it. I did that already. I actually have. You know what's funny? I have a Mexico voodoo doll around here somewhere. I totally didn't think about it. I should have brought it on. It's
Mexico voodoo doll.
I swear I have one. I brought it for my son one of the times I went to.
That inspires me. I should get a U.S. voodoo doll now. Actually, I don't know why I've never owned one.
Mexican I don't know why I've never owned one. Like, is it Rafa Marquez? You just poke and he gets a red card.
Yeah. Well, you remember that, right? When Record did that whole campaign about the voodoo dolls in like '09, I think it was maybe.
Yeah,
it was right before World Cup qualifier.
It was like a graphica, right? Like it was a cartoon, and I think I remember.
They had dolls. They had dolls actually.
They gave out.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Before the Columbus game?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, actually, you know what? I did a banner contest on SBI, and the winning banner, it said, "You'll need more than voodoo." And actually, that banner made it onto ESPN during the broadcast of the game.
There it is. Well, guys, Ivis has been in the game, obviously with U.S., writing for U.S., and since I know I can remember, so I became a fan. I know, especially on the interweb, and knows a lot. Writes right now for Goal.com, and just feature writing, amazing stuff from Ivis. But let's go ahead and get started. We started a little late, so we're here. Thank you all who are joining us on the chat already. Mr. Alexis Medina, Abuelito, the guys from Pancho Villa's Army, Joel, Antonio Ortiz, everybody on here already talking and already, making it interesting on the chat.
Well, quickly while we're on shoutouts, I got to meet a fan in person just yesterday.
Yes, so from the Mexican Soccer Show,
So this friend of mine organized a big beer bus to go around the breweries, and he has some friends that I've never met, and one of them happened to be a fan of Tom Marshall, because he's a Confused Chivas fan. So
there you go. Tom's got a lot of fans around. You'd be amazed. We'll be walking in San Francisco, and Mr. Tom, how you going? And Tom's like, hey. Tom,
got
what
nothing
do
on
you need to
Ivis,
all this
man.
success?
I've got nothing on Ivis, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tom's like Bizarro Donald Trump, because he's a ginger that Mexicans love, as opposed to the other one.
I put that on my Twitter. I'm going to put that on my profile.
You can put that on your profile. That's how it is. A lot of people love Tom Marshall. He's
And well, this guy kind of knew me by association, because Tom once tweeted that I was showing him around San Diego, so I kind of got some leftover fame there.
Nice. So it's always fun to meet fans wherever we go. Definitely, we do it for you guys, and it's a lot of fun when you guys come up and tell us your stories and everything. Especially at parties and hangouts, we do some work, and everyone's like, "Here, have a beer," and we're like, "All right." Let's we got a work to do. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and start right now and talk about what we saw last night. The very brief draw. For some reason, I was picturing more like 2 hours of draw and intensity and drama. And it looked like it was done.
It wasn't 2 hours.
I
don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's weird. Everyone was complaining. Everyone was complaining that it was taking too long.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was.
I got there. I'm sitting down, and I think maybe just the draw actually took 10 minutes. Here you go. And half of the stuff we already knew. I don't know, but overall, let's go ahead and obviously talk about the groups really quick. With Mexico getting Uruguay on this first game. We'll talk about the actual schedule in a minute, but just kind of your overall, Tom. Yes or no? Not an easy group, but not necessarily the hardest. How would you assess this group that we're in?
I think it's one that Mexico should definitely be getting out of. Overall, I think it's on that side of things, it's positive. What I would say is I think that the Uruguay game, for me, out of that pot two, that's possibly the most difficult for Mexico in terms of the style that Uruguay has, the defensive ability, the ability to really shut down the opposition, and then obviously two amazing strikers in Suarez and Cavani, who's obviously returning to form. So I think that's a really tough game for Mexico. I'd put it probably even on the basis that they're playing in Phoenix, which is obviously going to be heavily Mexico dominated fans. So yeah, decent. But I'd have preferred a Chile, because I think Mexico and Chile games recently have been brilliant, just going at it. And it's but Uruguay is going to be. I think this is Juan Carlos Osorio. This is where he comes into his own tactically. The preparation he's got, all over the world, and coming up with a plan. I think this is a big test for Osorio, and I'm fascinated to see what he's going to do against Uruguay.
It's probably going to be Mexico's most important game of the group stage. It's going to be the first one right there, so it's going to be a massive test for Mexico immediately.
Tell us the actual schedule.
Sure. So Mexico's going to play Uruguay in Phoenix on June 5th. They're going to play against Jamaica in Pasadena on June 9th, and they're going to play Venezuela in Houston on June 13th. So you look at. Yeah.
I actually see the Jamaica one is a little more important, because I see both Mexico and Uruguay going out of the group, but I think.
But Mexico plays Uruguay. Whoever gets more points for that match, unless you're thinking they're going to tie.
The first game is always the most important. They always say get 3 points, get some amount of points, and you're playing the hardest team. Usually you play the hardest team in the third game. I don't it's kind of what we want to see.
But Mexico plays Uruguay. Whoever gets more points in that match, unless you're thinking they're going to tie.
The first game is always the most important. They always say get 3 points, get some amount of points, and you're playing the hardest.
Someone has a YouTube video open right
Who's
now.
got the YouTube? I'm like,
I just heard myself talk right now. So.
First game is always the most important. They always say.
Who's got? Does somebody have the YouTube video? Please turn it down.
That's not me. Mine's closed. I know.
There we go.
We're good now.
There we go. I'm like, wait, I just said that.
I muted it. My apologies.
Oh my God, just said that. We were talking about, obviously the hardest game. Johnny, to you, you're saying that the Jamaica game is going to be key?
Yeah, it's a repeat of the Gold Cup final. Jamaica's a lot stronger than what people think. Osorio doesn't really know Jamaica.
Not true.
And
yeah. It's not true. Why not?
I think Osorio knows Jamaica very well. Actually, he's a student of the game, and he I think he was here in this area long enough to have an idea of what the teams can do around here. And I actually had a chance to chat with him today a little bit about the draw, and he's feeling good about it. And actually, I told him, I said, I gave him fair warning that I actually think Mexico is going to do real well, and I think they could be a surprise winner of this tournament. So I already warned him and let him know that he can blame me if they don't win it. But
so you got a chance to talk to Osorio. What else did you ask Osorio?
Yeah, well, he actually left the U.S. early. He left early in the morning today, right after the draw. He didn't get a chance to stick around. I know he would have loved to. He would have loved to have been able to stick around, but it seemed like the L3 contingent had to leave right away. I think the president of the Mexican Federation is heading to Zurich, so he wanted to spend some time back home the day after this Copa draw. But I think he's pretty confident about this draw, and Uruguay's a tough test. I agree. I think Uruguay was the toughest team that you could get out of the pot too. But I think the rest of the group, the way it plays out, I think it matches up well. I think Jamaica, they match up well with Jamaica, even though Jamaica's a better team maybe than they have been in a while. I just think they match up well with them. So I don't know how worried they are about that. I think they obviously need to try to beat Uruguay to get the top seed heading into the quarterfinals. But I don't know if they're as worried about Jamaica, anywhere as worried about Jamaica as the U.S. should be worried about Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
What about the US? Obviously, there's a lot of doom and gloom over there in the, people calling it the group of death and stuff like that. I mean, is this like an acid test now for Klinsmann that this is the time where he has to prove it?
Here's the obviously groups A, B, C, or D, and Tom just asked, what about the U.S. And we have you right now, Ivis. Everyone's talking about the group of death, which that term just kind of gets taken overboard, and we never really see it. But assessment on all the groups, especially with USA right there, Ivis.
Well, I think of the teams in pot one, I think they obviously got the toughest draw, but I do feel people are a little overboard with how tough it is, and I think part of that is how people are kind of viewing Colombia. And Colombia's a talented team. They obviously had a great World Cup in 2014, but they haven't been that team since. I mean, I think the Copa America 2015, they didn't necessarily look great. World Cup qualifying, they haven't shown that quality that they showed in Brazil since then. And I got to tell you, I was surprised when I was at the draw, and the gasps when Colombia was drawn. It was like, oh no, and I was like, what is going on here? You act like they just drew, they just drew Germany or something. It was weird. It was weird. But it's a tough draw. But I think the World Cup draw was tougher.
It's how the U.S. is playing right now. It's if this was 2002 U.S. with Bruce Arena, then maybe they're not in such bad shape. But the current USA that's playing with the defensive mistakes, I think I don't think the USA gets out of this group.
If I have to go with you, I think they do. I think they have enough. Costa Rica with different coaches, not definitely 2014. If there's a team that's not who they are in 2014, it's Costa Rica in that group. Yeah, I know Colombia's had some problems, but I don't see them coming out. Paraguay, although it's not the same Paraguay as we used to heard of seeing back in the 2000s. So I think U.S. being at home at the same time, it does play into it. I think they'll be able to get out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a U.S. fan either. Obviously, I'm here wearing the L3 jersey, but it seems like, at least from what I've seen on Twitter online, like a lot of people were. I mean, maybe it's just kind of in the U.S. there's this kind of mentality where you want to be the underdogs, always. But I feel like U.S. fans weren't giving their team enough credit. It seems like it was a lot of doom and gloom and like this is the end and what are we gonna do? But I feel like the U.S. is capable of getting past this group, especially when they do. Although I would make the argument that Mexico is actually the home team in this competition. Obviously, this competition is still taking part in the United States, and the U.S. should be able to get out of this group. So I still don't understand a lot of the significant negativity towards.
You know what? Look, listen, guys. The U.S. right now, the U.S. fan base is probably as down as they've been in the last 15, 20 years. Just because the way the Gold Cup went, they look terrible at the Gold Cup, and then obviously losing to Mexico. Right now, it's a team in transition. There's no doubt about that, and I think. And pretty much any draw this on Sunday, other than Haiti and Bolivia or Haiti and Venezuela, any draw was gonna yield kind of doom and gloom. But not what I would say. I think Jurgen Klinsmann, he obviously showed in 2014 that he can get the team up for a big competition, and he seemed really he seemed to be really excited about this draw, which which surprised me in a way. But I think he's capable of getting them up for this. It really comes down to that Costa Rica game, and I kind of would disagree with Wisto about Costa Rica not being what they were in 2014. In 2014, as a team, they obviously had a great tournament. They shocked everyone with how they played. But think about it. Since then, Costa Rica, look at how many of their players have moved on to better leagues, moved on to European leagues. They're at Kaler's playing out of his mind right now. Joel Campbell is getting playing time at Arsenal. So right now, if the coach is the question mark there.
Yes.
Is the coach capable of getting the most out of them? But as far as talent goes, you look at their roster, I mean, they can put a full lineup out of guys playing in Europe, and Costa Rica has never been able to do that.
Well, they have the talent, and really quick, we'll move on right now, but at the same time, they didn't get a single win in the Gold Cup last year with those players. I mean, it did impact the fact that Pinto wasn't there anymore.
Well, they might have won that quarterfinal, but
Yeah, I see it's all ties, and they got in all the way, and the quarterfinal drama and all that's happening. I don't see the same Costa Rica, who just lost. Is it Venezuela? I think they lost. I think they haven't won a game.
Well, they have their tough qualifying group, and they're at topping it right now with Jamaica and Panama. So they're good, man. They're good. Not to say the U.S. can't beat them. The U.S. should be able to beat them at home, no question. And in Chicago at Soldier Field, it's going to be a pro-U.S. crowd. But that's the game really that it comes down to. Not to overlook Paraguay in the last game, but they have to beat Costa Rica, no doubt about it. They can't even and if you tie Costa Rica, then you're really playing with fire, because to expect any points out of Colombia is asking a lot of things.
Well, there it is, the U.S. assessment. Mexico-West should just kind of end the draw. Other thoughts on the Mexico draw? I think everyone can say this is not necessarily the easiest group, but not the hardest either for them to come out. And it could pose some problems, losing Uruguay, maybe getting a tie, let's say Jamaica being hard and goes full back attack mode because they've, had another tie against Venezuela, and there you go. You have 1 point going into Venezuela, who at the same time can surprise you. We've talked about Venezuela, we talked about Jamaica, but there's no reason at all whatsoever with the roster that Mexico currently has that they shouldn't be getting 6 points out of those two matches from Jamaica and Venezuela. And the one against Uruguay is up in the air. There's no reason at all whatsoever why Mexico should not get those two wins.
Venezuela are in absolute disarray, aren't they, with the contracts with the federation? And I think they're with the FIFA rankings, obviously we know it's not always the best indicator, but I think they're the lowest ranked team in the whole tournament, if I'm not mistaken.
They've been awful in qualifying as well. I mean, they're the worst team in CONMEBOL, and not just look at the results. I think they're Mexico, and also like you said, having the crowd behind it, they're going to have the pro Mexico crowd everywhere they go. I agree. I think they're going to get out of the group pretty easily. The question is, can they get something out of the Uruguay game to finish number one and get an easier draw in the quarterfinals?
Yeah, I mean, I also don't think it's necessarily an easy draw as well, because I think it's going to be Chile or Argentina. Obviously, I think Mexico prefer Chile, but I think Mexico would like to finish top as well, because then in the quarterfinal they play Santa Clara up there at the Levi Stadium. But if they finish second, they go up to Foxborough. And I think if they're playing in Foxborough and against Argentina, I don't think it'll be the biggest, Mexico. Obviously, there's going to be Mexicans there, but it's not going to be.
We'll find a way, Tom. We'll find a way to get it.
That's the big question on the obviously the second round for Mexico. That everyone's already looking at it. Guys, I said it on a tweet yesterday. It's going to be tough getting to that semifinal game if we get Chile. Again, it's not the same Chile, I think, as last year. We're going to have to see what, obviously the Sampaoli team and now different. And I'll give you this, Pizzi. I don't see how he's coaching Chile now. In my opinion, is it the same Chile? We'll have to see. But then obviously Argentina, and how many times have we faced Argentina after the group stage? And there goes our hopes.
Well, I will say this: Osorio is a unique Mexican manager in the fact that now he has Daddy CONCACAF's permission to use the best Mexican players for a Copa America. No other manager in recent history has had that luxury. We've always had to send a B squad, a U20 squad down to a Copa America, and Mexico always, ends up getting trashed on. Osorio now can use the best Mexican players at a Copa America, so.
And when we have used the best ones, we have third, second. I think if you look at the last 15 years, our participation, it's pretty good compared to to even Colombia, compared to any of the others in the last 20 years when Mexico has their full squad. Recent 2007, a great first, coming out first in the group, beating Paraguay over 5 or 6 goals, and yes, losing against Argentina in the semifinals, but going against and beating Uruguay for the 3rd place match in that. So expecting good things, and just like you said, Ives, you're already saying, hey, I think it's going to be a good run for Mexico.
Well, I'm saying the pressure is definitely on Osorio.
Yeah.
I guess the question now though is, what do we expect for Mexico? Do we expect? I think at the least we're all expecting them to get out of the group stage, but after that, I think me personally, I think once they get past the group stage, that's reaching the quarterfinals is my expectation. And going up against Argentina or Chile in the quarters might be a little difficult. But
again, the famous quinto partido, bam.
To me, they need to minimum make the final.
Minimum final. Minimum final.
Hey, looking at what Osorio said,
with the squad they have, yes, minimum final.
Well, with what Osorio said in one recent interview, they asked him, "Is it a goal to win this tournament?" He said it's definitely an objective to win.
He has to say that though.
Last time we usually heard a gold, a medal, or definitely get to the semifinals. Last time we heard that we're going to win the tournament was Hugo Sanchez saying we're going to win it all.
Guys, I would say this. I think this is going to be one of the stronger Mexico teams we've seen in a long time. There's also the factor that Luis Suarez, if Barcelona's season extends far enough, maybe he's not there for that game against Mexico. And that'd be a big loss if he's not there for that game. I don't know if minimum final is the way, but I think they absolutely can win this tournament. And I don't know if anyone outside of Mexico is giving Mexico much of a chance to win this tournament. I think they can win this tournament.
I'd be happy with the semifinal. That's all I'm going to say. I'm happy with the semifinal. I think getting past the quarterfinal stage is past my own expectations. So I would be more than happy with the semifinal.
Getting past, it looks like
anything less than the final is failure.
It looks like this. It looks like the semifinal and the quarterfinal stages are almost the same in quality against it you're going to. If you're going to go against Argentina or Chile, and after that you're probably going to go against Brazil or however that goes. The next 3 games are going to be hard regardless however we can get it. So. We'll see how it is, but great in Copa America. Obviously had Ives there in the gala and red carpet, and having amazing players. Valderrama was there, Jorge Campos, and it was definitely fun to watch, and Alexi Lalas, obviously. But it was definitely cool. Right? I wonder if somebody was gonna get mad because interviews in Spanish. I don't know.
No, you know what?
Out there?
Hey, you know what happened with Alexi Lalas? He came into the mix zone area. No, none of the American journalists wanted to talk to him. They were like, "Hey, Alexi, how you doing?" You know what it is? We see him so much. He's on Twitter all the time. He's doing press clips every day. Everyone's they know what he's gonna say. So we were all like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And no one talked to him. And then all the like Latin media were like clamoring, like, "Please talk to us." And he was great. He had great comments to make about USA needing to show that they can win a group like that to kind of help their progression. So I thought that was one of the funnier moments of the night.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
All right, guys. Well, what is happening on the chat that they're saying? Joel's already saying, hey, you know what? Mexico, that Chile team that won couldn't beat Mexico scrubs in the Copa America last year. So let's not get too carried away with what Chile can do. It looks like it's the same type of style, and we always give them a hard time in the way that, and it's true, Chile and Mexico, in the way that they have, obviously surprising last year in what they did. So lots and lots of communication. Let's take it over, and I know we obviously only have an hour. We can keep talking Copa America draw the whole time, but let's go into what we have. Ives here with obviously CONCACAF. Kept saying it again, CONCACAF Champions Cup. coming up the play finally after 6 months of hiatus. It looks like there's just so much break between finally coming into in the semifinals, and 8 teams left, 4 Mexican teams, 4 MLS teams, and it's already. I feel like this is, for me, one of the ones that I'm really expecting, the MLS to either do something or at least keep it exciting. And it could be because Gio Dos Santos is in the MLS, all the money that's in Seattle. But Ivis, you're here. Tell us about the MLS teams going into it, the confidence. Obviously, also MLS as a whole. Are they actually going to be hoping for that splash that they've been wanting to make it to the to the Club World Cup? So tell us a little overview on the teams, DC United, and LA Galaxy and Real Salt Lake, on how they're preparing, and obviously, and the Sounders. And how they're going to be doing, what you kind of see going forward with this quarterfinal matchup.
I think it's 4 tough matchups for MLS, and it would not surprise me at all if MLS goes 0-4 in these matchups. And not right away you're talking about MLS hasn't even started their season, and now they have to go up against these Mexican teams that are 2 months in, and I do find it interesting. I was in New York City today at an event, and Don Garber spoke, the MLS commissioner, and I asked him about the matchup, about the CONCACAF Champions League, and is he worried about the matchups? And he was already starting on making the point about the scheduling, and in his opinion, he'd like to see CONCACAF make some changes so that MLS teams have a better chance to kind of match up in this particular round. And so it almost sounds like they know what's coming. It's like they know this is going to be a bit of a bloodbath in this quarterfinal, so they want to put it out there already that, listen, with the timing of things, with the calendar the way it is, it doesn't bode well for MLS teams. I know Montreal made it to the final last year. That was a great run by them. They exceeded a lot of expectations, but I really think it's going to be tough for any of these teams. Even teams like in LA or Seattle. LA is a stacked team. They really added some big pieces, but it's going to be tough for these teams to do much against some pretty good Mexican teams.
I think if I were to take a guess, the 2 teams that would have the best opportunity to go to the next round, I would say it's someone like Seattle or Santos Laguna. And I know Johnny's going to disagree with me on this.
My pick is DC United, because Querétaro are clearly the weakest of the 4 Liga MX contingency.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys. DC's probably the weakest of the 4 MLS.
I was just saying,
they haven't played a game. They're in preseason. So that's the thing, man. I don't like any of these matchups for MLS.
What can they do? I mean, are they gonna? Let's say Garber gets his wish of extending it 2 more months. I mean, having 8 months to go, or restructuring. What can you do, or is it just because of the MLS season?
It's tough. It's tough the way with the way the seasons match up. I mean, I guess you could push it back further into the year and not have it be in February. But I don't know how that can. I don't know if Mexico will go along with that. Although I would say Garber sounded pretty confident that with new leadership in CONCACAF that they'll be able to make something happen, make some adjustments for that. But in terms of this tournament, I don't think it's going to go very well for these MLS teams. I think you might see one team break through, maybe LA with the quality that they have, and Bruce Arena being the coach that he is. But even them, they have like the toughest matchup out of these. So it's not gonna go well. I think maybe you get one team through, but other than that, any Mexico Liga MX fans worried about this being the year that MLS breaks through? I don't see that happening.
I think we're not necessarily worried. I think we're excited to see competition as far as that we're going to notice. Gio Dos Santos playing, against a Mexican team, I think it'll be huge watching that. And watch out, LA Galaxy may spark something if Santos doesn't take it seriously, or Seattle, and how they're stacked and and their fan base at Seattle America. I think it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm really excited to watch, especially those 2 teams. And I think that's what, as a Mexico fan, we're looking. All right, they got something going on in Seattle. Their fans. It's a great city for soccer. America going in there maybe not prepared enough. They can get a tie and come back and surprise them. So I think not necessarily we're scared, but I think I'm ready to see some CONCACAF action. I don't know about you guys.
Right. Well, I'd say this. I think Seattle was my team that maybe 2 months ago I would have said absolutely their team that could get in there and knock off the Mexican team. But they're about to lose Obafemi Martins to China, and he's their best player. So you lose your best player right at this point in the preseason. It's just so tough that it's going to be tough to overcome that. But I think that's going to be a great series. It's going to be everyone's first chance to see Jordan Morris
Jordan Morris,
young standout for the U.S. national team, playing his first games as a professional. So I think that's going to be exciting. I think Seattle. I agree. I think Seattle has the talent, top to bottom, to make it a series. Maybe even though LA, some might say more talented, I think Seattle, even though they lose Martins, could absolutely be the team that gets through.
All I'm going to say about that Seattle and America matchup is the fact that Seattle's going to have that significant home support over at CenturyLink Field, which, even like Liga MX fans have to recognize the huge amount of fans that show up to those games in Seattle. And America tomorrow, they're going to be without Munoz, they're going to be without Benedetto, they're going to be without William da Silva. And then when they go back to the Azteca, we've seen, even though they beat Santos recently at the Azteca, we've seen how America has struggled in recent games back at home.
I believe Munoz will play on Tuesday night.
You
he
think
had
so?
his eye, yes, he had his eye poked. He had to leave that game, but I'm sure he's well now. Benedetto, yeah, that's a hamstring injury. He probably won't play. Peralta and Quintero are gonna be there, so Benedetto will be.
But Cuauhtémoc Blanco?
Might as well give him a start. Let's see what happens.
he's already registered in the 100th. There we go.
And William da Silva just played against Cruz Azul, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I thought I read somewhere that he wasn't going to go. I don't know. I just.
I'm more than anything, I'm really looking forward to seeing how LA do in Santos. I think it's going to be fascinating to see Gerard turn up in Torreon. And you know what I mean? It's going to be a big thing, you know what I mean, for the city and stuff. And I think that generates quite a lot of excitement. And you've got to think that Giovanni Dos Santos, given that he has had a certain amount of stick from Mexico fans for his move to MLS, that he's going to be absolutely desperate to get one over on a Liga MX club. So I think that's definitely something to look out for. And I don't know really anything about DC United. So
I mean, I've watched a few games from DC United, and they've pulled off some fantastic victories. But in defense, I mean, I'm sure Ivis would be able to give us a little more information. But in defense, they've looked pretty terrible. At least the few games that I've been able to watch them. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I won't even try
we were completely up and down for the few watches.
All I know about DC United is they have that giant wall when you're playing against them, and it feels like it's just like this giant wall. I'm like, I just see DC United. Ivis, you're saying that they're terrible, so we're gonna.
Well, here's the thing, right? So, they last year was a bit of a down year for them. Now they've lost one of their best players, Perry Kitchen, defensive midfielder. He's gone. Bill Hamid is injured, and obviously he's one of the top goalkeepers, if not the best goalkeeper in MLS. So right there, that's two big blows for them. They've added a pretty promising attacking player this offseason. But other than that, though, man, I don't know. I think of the MLS teams that are in this group, they could be the weakest in this quarterfinal stage. So I'm not expecting a whole lot out of them, I got to tell you.
And Ivis, from obviously you're giving your opinion there about the about the ties, but in terms of MLS fans, US soccer fans in general, are they excited about this competition? Do you think it's building up now? Are they really excited to see if the teams can get one over? Because obviously it's 4 from MLS, 4 from Liga MX, so it's kind of like we're gonna see and some of the best teams as well.
I gotta say, I haven't gotten the sense that there's a huge clamoring over these matchups. Not as much as you would think, right? I mean, considering it's MLS versus Liga MX. I think, if anything, there's obviously the contingent of American soccer fans who hate MLS. And I think they're waiting for a bloodbath. I think they're waiting for Liga MX to go 4-0 and blow out MLS teams, and then they can just, trot out of the dark and just start ripping on MLS again. It'll be down to Seattle and LA, I think, really to hold their ground and at least one of them, if not both of them, break through. Best case scenario for me is 2 of the teams get through, but I think more than likely we probably only see 1 team, and a sweep would not surprise me at all.
There it is.
And are we going to see the full strength teams? Do you reckon, from the MLS side?
No, you will. I think that. Well, they don't have any other games at the moment, so I think there's no excuse at all to stand a B team, because there's nothing else going on. There's preseason.
I remember when I traveled to Morelia on the bus, stayed in a real cheap hotel, ridiculously $15 with prostitutes outside and stuff. It was absolutely awful. But Galaxy were playing, and I was thinking, nice one.
They said buffet included, right?
and But it was like, Beckham's going to be there. It's like, all the star names are going to be there. Wicked, and Beckham didn't even travel, and I was absolutely gutted.
Well, that's a group.
that.
To be fair, the group stage games that happens because it's usually in the middle of an MLS season, and the coaches worry more about MLS than they worry about the group stage of the Champions League. But now that you're in the knockout rounds, there's nothing else going on. These teams have no excuse but to go full strength with their squads, and I think they'll be there. But it's just, again, it's such a difference being in preseason mode and being 7-8 weeks into your season, 5-6 weeks. It is huge difference there.
And I think recognizing that, I can't wait until all the awful arguments that fans are going to make from either side. If Mexico, if the Liga MX teams sweep all of the MLS teams, then all Liga MX fans are going to say is like, oh, obviously Liga MX is superior and just far superior, completely ignoring the fact that their MLS is in preseason mode. But if some MLS teams do actually go through, then there's going to be some from the other side just like, oh, we're now on the same level as Liga MX, and
Baz is
always
guys.
Yeah, it's not the best scale, but it's the only scale we have to compare the two leagues at the moment.
There's always over. I will say this. This is unrelated to the tournament, but you look at what some of these MLS guys have been able to do who came over, Omar Gonzalez, Juninho, Villafana. I mean, the fact that they've come over and done really well, I think that says a lot for MLS. It says a lot for the level, and the gap is closing. I've always said, hey, Liga MX is better. Liga MX is still better. A lot of MLS fans will not say that no matter what you say to them. They will not admit that. I'll be here to tell you, Liga MX is better, but the gap is absolutely big.
No, I completely agree as well.
I did mention this in a couple of podcasts where I was a special guest talking about the CONCACAF Champions League.
What podcast is that, Johnny? Go ahead and mention it. Give it a plug.
Radio Castadia and Radio MLS, both on prostamerica.com.
All right, there you go.
All right.
Go find out. Go check out Johnny.
I love how you were special guest. That's all. That's just what got me.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Right now, especially with America, at a lesser level with the other three Liga MX teams, there's absolutely nothing to win for them in this quarterfinal and semifinals round, and absolutely everything to lose. I got a manager like Ignacio Ambriz. He could literally be fired over losing to Seattle, but will absolutely get no kind of credit or job security over beating Seattle. And on a year where America celebrates their 100th anniversary and the pressure's already on Ambriz, even though he sits in fourth place, there's very little for these Mexican teams to win in these stages of the competition.
Well, there it is. It's all you got to. Great point, Johnny. Ivis, obviously, before you leave, I have a question from our friend Naive Moran. You know him pretty well. It's something about the U.S. just kind of quickly, and he would love to have your thoughts. We don't have that many people that actually follow right. He does a great job for the U.S. here, especially on the Mexican Soccer Show. But he says, will the U.S. have any issues this summer because Olympics and Copa America kind of paired together, obviously, if they qualify?
The U.S. has to go first. They have to play Colombia in a playoff. There's no gimme there. But Klinsmann's already made it clear that Copa America is a priority. There's no issues in terms of maybe they'll save someone for the Olympics. That's not going to be the case. The Copa America squad is the priority. So one thing I would say that was interesting is that Klinsmann was asked about Christian Pulisic, who's a 17-year-old midfielder at Borussia Dortmund, who's actually getting playing time now and actually got his first start for Dortmund in a really big match this weekend. So you know how American fans are when it comes to young prospects. They crown them before they've ever done anything. And he's the latest, but this kid is legit. I mean, he's doing it. He's playing in big games. But Klinsmann was kind of like pumping the brakes. He's kind of like, we want to take it easy. We don't want to rush him. So I think if anything, he might be a candidate who doesn't play in Copa America, but absolutely could be in the Olympics if they qualify.
Which is really, really smart. I like that. Not giving the pressure of coming to Copa America, getting in that sub-23, and it was against Chicharito. I see a lot of Mexican fans saw, and he got subbed out, but we're like, all right, this kid, hopefully it does. They didn't do with the national superstar stardom and putting him in this,
But just
game,
one quick point on that. I think there's a difference between a 17-year-old, and a 21, 22-year-old. You know what I mean? If a 17-year-old, completely understand it, but I don't know. I think for someone like Tecatito, I mean, you want him at Copa America, he's good enough to probably start.
He's already showed it. He's already showed it. But a great point, and hopefully it goes well. Ivis, thank you so much for joining. I love your work at goal.com, and every time we see you, always bring some, a different angle that we don't see very much, especially on the Mexican side. But good luck to you. Good luck to you all you're doing, and thanks for joining us, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right. Well, good luck to Ivis, and we'll talk to him when there's obviously more U.S. news and yeah, we'll see. Just interesting stuff. The fact that he says Mexico can make it, could even have it to win it, from someone that obviously writes all about, the U.S. and knows a lot about the MLS. That's pretty good, guys. I mean, and it has to do with the players that we have, right? I think
quick point.
The final is the minimum requirement.
Quick point. Like I know Osorio, was widely quoted saying we can play tú a tú with whichever team in this tournament, mano a mano. We can go up against them, we can play them, we're not scared of anyone. But what people didn't, he said something right after that, and he said, we've got 15 elite players.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of our team is made up of, players from the Liga MX and like very good players. And I think that he's actually just summed up what Mexico is. If Mexico do have a bit of luck, there's not a lot of injuries, that people coming in to inform. They have got a chance against any team. There's no need to be scared against any team. But they haven't got that depth that an Argentina or Brazil have. You would have like 40 perhaps elite players. And I think that's the difference. And that's where Mexico has to improve.
I think at the same time,
the difference between elite and Liga MX players, and what can someone define that difference? Paul Aguilar, for example, where do you label him?
I think he's the 15, part of the 15 elite, and then some.
I think him, Talavera, and one or two, you know what I mean, from the Liga MX. But I think the majority in Europe, I mean, the ones we know very well.
And they're all playing. I mean,
I just thought it was interesting how Osorio picked that out, and he said it, and I think it's completely true. It just wasn't widely picked up, but it goes with what Ives was saying as well. If Mexico have them 15, have them in form and coming into the tournament and fit and ready to go, then yeah, Mexico can beat an Argentina, they can beat a Brazil. There's absolutely no reason to think they can't.
Yeah, I guess my only worry as a fan there is I hope that, you see all those rumors regarding that, like, Talavera might play in the Olympics. You see, Chicharito is one of the striker options in the Olympics, which I doubt with someone like Chicharito. But I just wait. The back of my mind, I just waiting for that confirmation that everyone said that we're gonna send our best players. I'm sure is what's gonna happen. But it'll be interesting to see which 3 overage players will be sent to the Olympics.
What wouldn't surprise me if the 3 overage players actually do feature in the Copa America, but the Liga MX based.
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely no way that if
unless they want to.
No way. Bayer Leverkusen, if they're in the Champions League qualifying, there's no way that Chicharito go, you know what? I want to play in the Olympics, mate. It's just not going to happen. He's got a contract with the club. It's worth like 30, 40, 50. I don't know how many millions of euros for that club to be in the Champions League. So it's just not going to happen, whether he wants to or not. Obviously, he wants to. He wouldn't want to go to Rio and play, but for me, I've said it before on the show. Like the Copa America is the number one important thing. That has to be the focus of the summer for Mexico.
Well, obviously, to close off the Copa America talk and overall, I feel like every one of these giant South American teams, there's something there that is not your usual Argentina coming in stacked, not Brazil with the problems that they have, Chile with the coaching changes, Uruguay having a mostly veteran team and having a horrible transition between the young guys and the older guys, Colombia struggling. It isn't this, we know Chile can win, or Argentina is going to win, or Brazil is going to win. And I feel that's what's going to give Mexico that advantage, is that Mexico's playing well. They've won, last year in the summer. Now I have Juan Carlos Osorio. Our players are playing in the leagues, and just with a bit of luck, just like Tom said, you can make a splash and we can win this thing. Not saying it's going to be easy, but at the same time, the competition that you usually see at a Copa America, like last year, maybe a Chile playing so well, even though they also struggled, or the times before that, I don't see it being there. So that's my take on it.
I disagree a bit about Uruguay. If you look at the South American qualifiers, they've started it really, really well. I believe they beat Colombia 3-0 and
But that could go because
another team.
it's not as competitive as we normally see it. I mean, Bolivia isn't the last. We see Ecuador doing really well, but where's the Brazils, Argentina that dominated all the time? I don't know. That's where I can kind of see why Uruguay is playing so, is second in the. But I just don't see him being that Uruguay that was there in 2010. Ultimately,
I think they are, man. I think you got a player like Suarez. I just think he's on a different. He just elevates that team so much. And when you've got such a solid base, they've got Godin and they've got very solid goalkeeper. Like, Arevalo, all right, he's not the best player in the world, but he does a job, I'll tell you that much. And then, Carlos Sanchez. I think they've got a lot of very good players. And then you put Suarez in the mix, and you never know what's going on.
Whoa, Carlos Sanchez, a Liga MX player? That we're talking about elite players.
Hey,
There's another guy.
Carlos Sanchez and Edwin Cardona, those guys are on a different level, Johnny. Those guys are like...
There's a young guy too. Uruguay plays for Mexico.
But they play in the peasant Liga MX, don't they?
No, but I wouldn't say that they have the depth any more than Mexico.
No, but that's what I'm saying. We're not used to this 2010. I mean, Cavani, Luis Suarez. It's like I don't know. I just don't see a great South American team that's going to blow everyone over. We can beat this Argentina team, if we're playing in our A game. We can beat this Chile team that just kind of had that we're going to have pizza and see what happens. Colombia not doing so well. So I just feel like it can happen, but at the same time, who knows what's going to happen in the quarterfinal? I
guess the end conversation is that although I will say these you look at Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Colombia. It is tough competition, but if there is a competition for Mexico to truly stand out, this is it. This is the summer. They're gonna have this. They're gonna have the home support. Right now, they have maybe, as Tom mentioned, they don't have the depth of other countries, but it's a great opportunity right now for the national team to exceed expectations and maybe make the final. I don't know if they're gonna make the final. As I mentioned, I'd be happy with a semifinal.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say final. If they make it to the final,
match, Phoenix, Arizona, we're all there. That's and we'll do that. All right, guys. Talked a lot about the Copa America. Talked a lot about CONCACAF Champions. Exciting week for Mexican soccer, international soccer, especially with the Copa draw and now with the CONCACAF Champions. Let's move on. Don't have a lot of time, but really quick, Libertadores. I said it last week. Watch out, because it looks like they can do horrible or they can surprise you. Tom, to you, the altitude were excuses by the South American teams, not being prepared. When you beat those type of teams with 10 men, 9 men, you kind of where did this come from?
No, I think Toluca was an exceptional performance with 10 players, absolutely unbelievable. And I think Cardoso is actually coming up under a bit of pressure now as well, because the team's not doing well in the league and they're not winning games. So yeah, I mean, I think the key in the Libertadores, it's not rocket science in a way. I mean, it's
win home.
Win at home. I mean, you have to win at home, especially if you're playing at 20,000 meters or whatever, in Toluca. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to travel from Brazil. And yeah, the Puma side, another a big victory there as well. But what surprised me about Pumas was that against Santos on Sunday, they put like an alternative lineup out, which obviously tells you that Pumas are going for the Libertadores, which surprised me, because a lot of the times these Mexican teams, they kind of give lip service to, we're going to try really hard, blah, blah, blah. Then it comes down to it and they're like, put out second teams and, stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, Pumas are a good team, and, I am more excited than this time last week about the two teams in the Libertadores.
Yeah, no, as you mentioned, it was really impressive. I sent out that tweet. Both those clubs, they went down to 10 men and were able to pull off a big result. I mean, even though they were at home, I think you can't deny it was a big result, because they were down to, like I said, they were just down to 10 players. So I think it was significant for them. I mean, there's still 5. I mean, it was the first game of the group stage, but there's still 5 more games each. But it will be interesting to see, especially like you said, someone like Pumas, who have actually shown a little bit more interest in possibly doing well. Maybe they, because of the poor start that they've had to the Clausura, they're maybe putting a little bit more significance to this competition. But I don't know. We'll see. Interesting.
When are the games? The return legs or the? I never get the ida and vueltas.
Yeah, looks like the next games are for March 2nd for Toluca. They're gonna be taking on San Lorenzo, in Argentina, and then for Pumas, the next game is against Paraguay's Olimpia on March 1st.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Good, good, good. All right, Libertadores action check. Let's go into it. Liga MX, and Johnny can finally get his, explain his attire of why he's wearing that. He's already showing his yellow and red card and his little red. Go ahead and give us a little whistle, Johnny, for the show.
Not too loud. Oh.
Why?
I'm not loud. All right, guys. Obviously, the game that everyone's talking about. You know what? I might just send a link over to if it gets really crazy by Johnny. Spewing a lot of things that I know. Jason, you're listening. You're on the chat right now. If I send you a quick link, just send me a message if you want to reply to Johnny really quick live somehow. If he says something too crazy, because I know you're listening and you're watching. You're on the chat. But Johnny, Liga MX. Everyone's talking about the game. The Clásico Joven. Beautiful. If you're not a fan of either, I thought it was an amazing game. Performance, just the drama. The crowd was there. I think was it 70,000 people that were there. So tell us, obviously, ref, and what you're wearing, but overall in the take of the game.
Yeah, this outfit's a tribute to who knocked out America out of the Liga MX Liguilla last season against Pumas, and who was responsible for the 3-3 draw on Saturday at the Azteca. In three of those games, the two-legged semifinals and the one on Saturday, that's a 6 red card accumulation. 2 red cards to America in each game. The referees are just gunning these America players down. They wait for the minimum of excuses to pull out their cards. Kind of like me. I used to be a referee. I cut the flap from this shirt right here. So I can shoot the cards out quicker. Back when I referee, that flap just got in the way. I just needed to pull them out quicker. That's what's happening with America in Liga MX. America put on a great performance. Sambuesa's on in incredible form right now. He might be the difference maker in the next CONCACAF Champions League. He himself can probably carry the team past Seattle. Yeah.
Just by himself.
Yeah.
I will say that red for Peralta, that was not a deserved red. But
Right?
but every match for America, people are either saying that the refs are for America or against America.
No,
It's just,
and the Quintero red card. Yes, Quintero kind of slid in their card, but he didn't touch the player with the cleats. He kind of caught him with the trailing leg that was folded. So that was a yellow card at most. It was a foul, but a yellow card.
Would you say that Tomas Boy deserved that 2-game suspension for his for the
For
way
his
that he celebrated?
Piojo-like celebration? That was Piojo.
The kind of like the caveman kind of.
You know what? It wasn't the celebration and the dance itself. It was
Did it against.
insulting. It was the insults that he threw at the America bench that caused the fight.
Would you say that he deserves the 2-game suspension though?
Yes, because I don't know if you guys were watching the Univision broadcast. Right after there was the brawl in the benches, there was a brawl in the stands. So that brawl on the benches caused a brawl in the stands. And these high-intensity games in Mexico City, they just need the littlest spark to cause, real danger within the crowd.
So you don't accept the view that America, I think I'm right in saying they committed more fouls than any other club last season, and again this time round they're very high up in the yellow cards, and you don't think Nacho Ambriz, since he's took over, as made this team the way it is.
Fouls are a natural part of the game. They're very they're part of any strategy. The red cards and yellow cards, that's a referee campaign against the team.
That's a bold statement.
I call them like I see them.
Guys, I don't remember a Clásico Joven being that exciting. Maybe I'm getting older.
No, great.
I do.
No, it was beautiful, man. That was great, man.
I do. 2013, when America were shown a red card early in the game, and they still had
I'm talking about during the regular season. I'm talking about a semifinal or final game. I'm sure that, obviously the probably greatest, final of Cruz Azul and America Piojo, same thing, dancing the same way. But other than that, a Clásico Joven, like, okay, yeah, it should be good, but I didn't expect it to, the drama to come out that it was great.
Hey, I tell you what though, quick point on Cruz Azul. You look at him now, player for player, and I don't know, Tomas Boy's doing a pretty decent job. I mean, obviously playing away against America there, you're gonna have periods of the game where America dominated, and I think America obviously they went 3-1 up, but I think you look at Cruz Azul's team now, and you look at the likes of Ariel Rojas, who was like a starter for River Plate last season. Jorge Benitez, who's played over there in Europe, and Victor Vasquez, who was the best player in Belgium last season. I mean, usually the best player in Belgium would go to the Premier League or Spain, or you know what I mean. So it was a major coup to get those players, and I don't know. I don't know. I quite like what Boy did. It's like almost the opposite of what the last few Cruz Azul managers have done. He's not scared to put a bit of life into the thing. And yeah, did he cross the line? Of course he did, but I didn't mind it in a way. I didn't mind him coming out and being like, you know what, we're really happy with this result. You couldn't beat us, so there you go. See you later. I just think Cruz Azul are on the up.
The excessive celebrations, that's all fine. Pio Herrera used to do them. Just don't start insulting and causing fights.
Causing.
No, yeah, it's Tomas Boy though. he's always done it, hasn't he? And he always will probably. And yeah, is it right? No,
he likes to dance. The guy likes to dance.
Herrera used to do the same crazy celebrations, and he never went about insulting people.
I'm pretty sure
a couple weeks ago he almost got it. A couple weeks ago, almost on getting an argument with Nahuel Guzman. So
I'm pretty sure he hit it, and that's what his insults and violence got him. One of the worst career moves in the history of the game.
You gotta learn that thin line. I as a player, I learned the thin line of what I can get away with. And I don't know.
Already in this podcast.
That's a gray. That brings up a gray area.
I don't know, Johnny. I would have already given you a yellow for some stuff we already said in this podcast, but
Johnny's the Ruben Sambuesa of the podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that is the greatest compliment I could receive.
Ladies and gentlemen, out of nowhere, and because he obviously his ears were ringing, Mr. Jason Marquez just decided to join out of nowhere, just to make sure he couldn't. Go ahead, Johnny. I mean, Jason, you have the floor.
Well, I mean, the sheer fact that we're talking about the official in this game as this bias against America, and the whole, America's got on the sheet. No, we haven't even talked about that penalty. No one's talking about that penalty. I mean, it's just craziness. But I mean, I don't know. The point is always with Liga MX officials, they're pretty much spotty for everyone, and that's just the way it goes. I don't know. You can't really say America fans will after that game will blame the official for that, but I mean, come on, look at the way that game played out. I don't know. It could have went either way, and it was just kind of crazy all around that game, really.
Well, you know what? The penalty, I can see the penalty not being called. I can see the penalty being called. The guy did have his arm stretched out. When the few times I was a defender, I was taught to always go in with my hands behind my back. Why? So you don't get those iffy penalties called against you. He had his arm extended. He put himself on the risk.
What about strikers? Are they allowed to go up with the elbows out like that?
You need the arms up to propel yourself. The Cruz Azul guy had his elbow in the exact same position. The only difference is Peralta outjumped him. So Peralta's elbow was at the height of his face. If the Cruz Azul guy would have outjumped the America guy, then his elbow would have been at the height of Peralta's face.
But the point I'm trying to make is, what you're saying, that he put himself in that position, the Cruz Azul defender. Well, so did Peralta. He was going up against Massa, who's obviously a lot bigger than him. And obviously to get the leverage, he went up with his elbow. But at the end of the day, he raised his arm, and he I'm not saying I would have given that a red card, but I'm saying, it's not a definite line.
Okay, yes, Peralta did put himself right there on the risk. But my original point is that there's a referee campaign to look for any little thing to fire that red card against America.
Guys, I feel like I'm Jerry Springer, and I'm just making everybody fight. Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead. We have Johnny. He just said that you're a jerk, and go ahead and respond.
Are the DNA test results in? That's all I want to know.
That's the wrong show, Jason. That's wrong. All right, Jason. I know. Thank you for joining us like this. Well, you know what? Stay on. Let's close it out, guys. I know we went a little bit over with the Copa America draw and CONCACAF Champions, and obviously this Clásico Joven, drama and debacle. But quick, another great story from the weekend. Lots of goals as we saw into Saturday. Giving a León. Obviously, I was happy. If I did not expect that at all. But Dorados had us wishing they were going to get a point. Sorry, Chivas fans. But there we go. Were they going to get one? And then all of a sudden,
yeah, unlucky for them. They've after going weeks without scoring goals, they scored 4 in their last 2 games, but then they allowed 6. It kind of sucks to sucks to be. It's unfortunate.
Atlas finally getting a win. Tom?
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, I think they've got a platform now. I think Costas has decided that he can't be out overly attacking, and that he's going to get this base of the team right, very solid. They've worked very, very hard in a 4-4-2. They're a bit like Simeone, really, over at Atletico. I mean, I think that's the model. So, yeah, I mean, I think Jefferson Duque has been a big signing, and he's working well with Bergesio. So, signs that Atlas could be mid-table.
All right, guys. Next week, what do we want to watch? What do we have to see? If we what are the interesting matchups that are there? I'm trying to go over to Tijuana to go see these guys and see León over there. Should be fun on Friday night. But what else? What is there to see?
Tigres against America with no strikers, thanks to the refs.
Tigres America actually looks pretty good.
With no strikers.
Let's see. I'm interested in Dorados.
No Quintero, no Benedetto, no Peralta.
I'm interested in actually Cruz Azul Monterrey could be pretty good after the performance that Cruz Azul had recently. I'm interested to see what they could do at home against the Rayados side, who has been fantastic recently, who scored 10 goals in their last 3 matches. So I think that'll be one of the ones to watch for me.
Yeah, with Monterrey, as great as Monterrey, every win kind of reinforces my argument why America should have never let go of Turco Mohamed.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Yeah, no.
Other big. Go ahead, Tom.
I think it's all about, you got the 5 o'clock Mexico time, Cruz Azul Monterrey, and then straight after Tigres America. 2 top games. I mean, I think four of the better teams. I think 3 of the best, and then Cruz Azul are up there. Sorry, Jason. but yeah, 4 of the best teams. Let's just say, yeah. And they're all going up against each other. Obviously, here in Guadalajara, Chivas against Tijuana. Chivas still looking for that win. There's so much pressure. Rumors about Sampaoli being linked to the job, to Almeida's job. It's just like, it's once again just a big mess at Chivas.
Yeah, we'll see what Chivas with the starting lineup will look like next weekend too. Especially after Peña was benched, especially after Toño was benched. So it'll be interesting to see who we see the starting lineup next weekend as well.
Yeah. Now, whose decision was to bench Peña? Because I heard some fighting words by Jorge Vergara calling out Peña's performance.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Oh, I know.
He's not even in the right position.
No, he's not playing well. He's not confident, and he's failed to adapt very well. I mean,
who's playing well from that team?
Yeah, nobody. Yeah. I'm not blaming him. Yeah. Pineda's, he's playing all right. But this is my point. If you're Almeida, who's an absolute football person, Argentine international, absolutely loves the game, River Plate, played in different countries in Europe, in Spain, in Italy, and then you've got a player in Gullit Peña who's not doing it, who's low in confidence. That needs, you got to put your arm around him and say, "Come on, man, you're a big player for this team. Try and get some performances out of him." How gutted must you feel if the owner of the club is giving interviews saying that he's completely not worth the money that it was paid out to him, that he's going to sit down with him, and that the player had promised that he would play well? It's like, what's that? It's like there's a switch. Like, players are just like machines where you're just like, oh, I've paid loads of money for this guy, so I'll just flick the switch and then he's going to play. It's like, that's the problem with Chivas. How's Peña going to feel? But more than that, what about Almeida? How's he going to feel about the owner of the club? I mean, can you imagine serious clubs doing that? I mean, it just wouldn't happen. It's like he's once again, Vergara's getting involved, and you've got the other guy, the president of Chivas OmniLife, whatever, who's on Twitter just like some adolescent.
This guy's got to get off. I forget his exact name, but he's got to get off Twitter.
Yeah.
He's like responding to like fans and like I mean that's where like the whole. I mean, Top and I talked about this a while back, but like there was that whole thing where Cesar Romero might have like been linked, and he actually said he's like, oh yeah, Cesar Romero's coming to Chivas. He's like, oh, I meant Coras, not Chivas. And it's just it's embarrassing, man. I don't know what he's doing on Twitter doing that stuff.
No.
It happens. It happens. All right, guys. Lots. Obviously, great week. I think every day there's something that we all watch and talk. So that's great to see. Before we leave, everyone, your prayers have been answered. Some of you missed him. You can't have a year without something related to Cuauhtemoc Blanco. He's back, everyone. It came out today that he's going to be in the Centenario. In the 100th, obviously 100 years of America, and what we have, obviously Johnny to talk about, one of the greatest players of the game, with number 100. Although I remember both of Bautista wearing the 100, back in like 2006 or 2005.
Hey,
but anyway, sorry.
We're not wasting space on Bofo.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Blanco.
Cuauhtemoc Blanco coming back against Morelia in March, right?
The current mayor of Cuernavaca will be featured in the Week 10 match against
Nine
match against Morelia at the Estadio Azteca. Wearing the 100th, this will officially kick off the 100th birthday celebration for the greatest club Mexico has produced, maybe even the entire Americas. Boca Juniors kind of, fights the title with America, but let the celebrations begin. Cuauhtemoc Blanco on the field wearing.
Wait! I thought you could not mix politics with like anything related with FIFA and soccer, like
It's Mexico.
at all.
Man.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. The funny thing is when I first saw that Blanco's name popped up, because like I woke up and I saw just like Blanco's name, because like the link that everybody was like sending up was just pictures of him registered with the team. So it first came to mind for me is I thought they brought him to Seattle to take on the Sounders and the CONCACAF Champions. Like, that was what first came to mind. I was like, really? Like just like you're really gonna bring Blanco? You guys are this desperate? But it'll be cool to see him play. Let's see. I know he's probably gonna get the start. Give him the full 90.
Mate. I think it's.
Go ahead.
I think it's a bit of a joke. I just think it's a bit of a joke. It's like 43 years old. He's not played for a year in the real game. In the league game.
Is it going to be one of the Chava Reyes thing, Tom? Though, remember Chava Reyes coming in? No. He has a couple passes. Like he's fully going to play on competitively.
Yeah, he's going to play between 30 and 45 minutes. I mean, what does that say about the league, though? You know what I mean? How is it going to legal?
What does that say about Morelia?
Plus he's the mayor. Plus he's the mayor of some town that's like heavily involved in drug violence. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in Cuernavaca. I mean, politically, he's had big problems with the state governor. He's the mayor of the city, and it's like.
Since he's already registered, since we already bypassed that loophole of getting him registered with the league, can he play against Tigres? Because we have no other striker.
I don't think we'll have to worry about this being the last farewell for him. I think we're going to have a few more farewell games before this is over. I think another 2-3 years of comebacks on this.
He had 3 with the national team, wasn't it? One quit.
And he looked great. He looked great with the national team. He looked great in his last.
Okay.
I don't know what that is, me.
His last, the one before, I think his last official goodbye before this one was last year, and I think it was in Michigan or something. It was really weird. It was like some random like Midwestern state that he had like a goodbye match. It was really odd. But I mean, yeah, let's see how many more he has after this.
That's hilarious. Oh, big slap in the face. Says Tom. Johnny's like, let's welcome it. Who knows?
No, if you're an America fan, I agree. You're gonna love it. It's like a club legend. You're gonna love it. I'm not denying Americanistas that, but I'm just saying it is a big joke. I mean, it's just a joke that.
Hey, the 100th birthday of the most important club in Mexico is no joke.
No, that's not a joke.
Celebration.
Bring him in at half time.
I know, man. I'm
half
laughing.
time to do some kick-ups.
Bring him at the beginning. I mean, honestly, Chava Reyes is probably going to do. Cuauhtemoc Blanco is going to do exactly what Chava Reyes did. I think maybe Chava Reyes is a little faster. If you remember, he just like tapped it a couple times, they clapped, and he's out. That's what they should do. I mean, we're really gonna play. Actually, it's kind of funny. Wouldn't it be great if he gets a penalty kick?
Yeah, I wouldn't deny him I wouldn't deny him if he gets a penalty, after all I've said.
Because I think we were all waiting for that. All right, guys.
Wait. Really quickly, 30-second Europeo update. Alan Pulido got a goal and assist. Vela got an assist for the game-winning goal. Diego Reyes continues to play as a defensive midfielder. Chicharito played in his first game back from his injury, but he didn't score. Layun got a goal and assist, and he created the pass that led to an assist for Porto's 3-2 win. Gudinho got his start, his first ever first division start for União de Madeira. I'm probably mispronouncing that. So it's a massive moment for him. And Raul Jimenez played like a minute. That's about it. And on Wednesday,
that's actually pretty good. Because remember when we got on the Mexican Soccer Show Express on Thursdays at 7 p.m. We were talking about how sad of a day it was for the Europeos, and then the weekend happened.
No, so that was definitely a good weekend. Although Tecatito's kind of keep an eye on him. He's not doing that well recently. He only played 45 minutes. Before that, he played about 50-something the previous match. So he's only had like about 1 goal in his last 9 matches either. And then really quickly, this Wednesday, Champions League match, PSV and Atletico Madrid, and it looks like Guardado might be healthy and might be healthy enough to play in that match. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Yes. There's a match tomorrow, Wednesday, Champions League. If you're a Mexico fan, it's great to be a fan right now. Lots of stuff happening this week. Lots of stuff happening. All right, guys. Jason, you sure you have nothing else to say to Johnny?
Well, I would also like to say that it was interesting that the game ended exactly at 6 minutes past, as it was reported, even though 3 minutes of that time was spent on the sidelines. So, with our own manager, time wasting for America. So anyway,
they should have been trying to get a winner. They were playing against
you would think with America 2 men down, you want to spend that time trying to score another goal, but you know. Whatever.
No, Jason, I never made these claims, but how do you respond to the fans? Let's say Cruz Azul are such a small team, they celebrate a draw against a 9-man America.
I say any point on the road is a good point. So.
All right, guys. Great show. Lots of fun today. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Jason, for coming in. A lot of people were saying,
I love it. So, someone said it was like a WWE entrance.
Yeah, he's like, and here comes Jason!
He did move over here, so.
Cesar, thank you so much for joining on. And a big thank you to Mr. Ives. You can find him at goal.com. Soccer about Ives. Ives, great guy. Definitely read his stuff. Has a lot to do. But we're saying goodbye from all of us at the Mexican Soccer Show with that not crazy music. It's Friday night. Stop, Johnny. We'll talk to you guys all later. Thank you so much, everyone on the chat. Please follow us and subscribe to our YouTube. We'll see you at least on Thursday with. We actually have a very it's gonna be a fun show on Thursday. Don't miss it. A little surprise for all you guys on Thursday night with Mr. Nayib Moran. So it should be fun to have you. But thank you to everyone who watched, who listened, and especially all those that listen to us on iTunes on Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll talk to you guys next week. This has been the Mexican Soccer Show. Adios a todos.